Hey you cutie poopies, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. This week is episode 8. I did just make a post about it, but I'm just gonna say it again. I apologize for those of you who aren't able to see episode 7, the recap. It got hit with a copyright and I'm not entirely sure how to work around it. Well, I've tried to anyways, just didn't work in my favor. So for those of you who weren't able to see it, I'm gonna go ahead and just recap it real quick. For those of you who don't really care to hear it, you can just skip to this number right here or this time. But in episode 7, which was last week, they start off with Natalie still cackling, being disrespectful. The person that decides to jump in is Julia, telling her to quiet down. So now they're able to move on, and Brandon and Julia share their experience with the boat competition. And Julia decides to share with the group that she went to a doctor in Russia to get a fertility test, and the doctor said that she can't have kids. But Brandon wants a second opinion, which Julia decides to talk to her mom about it, and her mom agrees with Brandon that they should go see another doctor. So Julia compromises with Brandon about going to see a fertility doctor and maybe having kids. Then we get to Ari and Benny, and Ari decides to give Benny his passwords, but it really doesn't turn into a happy moment. They end up going out that night and having drinks and dinner, and it turns into an argument. She decides that it's time to talk about his cheating, and the whole conversation is he says that she's lying and she says that he's lying. So it doesn't get anywhere, and he ends up just ending the conversation with flipping her off. Then we get to Jasmine and Gino, and Jasmine decides she wants to try to put some love and affection on Gino, but Gino's not having it. He doesn't want to give her a lick of affection, and she ends up saying that he's going to end up losing her if he doesn't try, and he says that she's already lost him. Then we get with Josh and Natalie, and they get to have some single schmex therapy with each other, and at first it went good until it didn't, and of course when Josh says no, Natalie goes off. It turns into Natalie begging Josh to be his girlfriend, and it turns into him saying that he's not going to bring any crazy person back to his family. And the episode ends with her kicking out her therapist and walking out on Josh. Now the next episode surprisingly doesn't start off from the last episode. I figured it would have started off with Natalie walking out and then we get to see a fight between them, but it starts out with Brandon and Julia going into their honeymoon suite. Last week they did the boat competition, and Natalie and Josh were disqualified for breaking some of the rules, so since Brandon and Julia were right behind them, they actually got the prize. So it's the honeymoon suite, they're checking it out, and it is so beautiful. Like, my gosh, like there was this huge tub in there, they had their own fireplace, they had a table like so big. It's like, if this is only meant for 2 people, why was the table the size of a castle table? But everything was so beautiful. They even had the bed set up with flowers, and this compensates for them since they didn't have a honeymoon after their wedding, so this is their honeymoon. Now Brandon and Julia kind of want different things, but they do end up coming to a compromise. Julia wants to have a party in the room and share the wealth with everybody, and Brandon, he just wants schmexy time. He is ready to get it on. He just wants to be romantic tonight. But Julia says she wants a party because they've all been working hard, so they should at least all get to experience it, and eventually when they go home, then they could have some schmexy time. And this guy is horned up. She's sitting here promising him that, yeah, we're gonna get to it, just chill out. And he's like, you always promise this, man. You always say tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, but guess what? Tomorrow never comes, and I wanna come.
Every single day.
I promise.
Oh, yeah, later. Oh, yeah, later. Oh, tomorrow.
I promise.
But tomorrow never comes.
I promise.
And I want to.
You need Jesus!
We get another therapy session, but this time it's only with Stacy, Florian, and Rob and Sophie. Now Stacy and Florian first come out and they walk up on some boxes, and there's like toys laid out. It's like a picnic type thing, and there's actually a new therapist there, and Florian is like utterly confused. Like the minute he sees toys, he's like, what are these? But right behind them is Rob and Sophie. Now Sophie and Stacy, they dress so dang cute. Like every single time I see them, their outfits are like always on point. Like I wish I had the eye for clothing and fashion, because I do not. I dress like a child. Like anything I like I'm putting on, whether it matches or not. Now, Stacy goes on to say that she thinks that they're having therapy together and it's just them because they have the same kind of problems with communication. But they introduce us to the new therapist, but she says that she's a hypnotherapist, spiritual healer, teacher, and life coach. But she goes on to explain what they have in front of them. They open up the trays and there's sand in there. So they have some sandbox and some toys, and they're going to be doing sand tray therapy. And she says with this, you're able to paint a picture and express your emotions and feelings without using words, because sometimes it's hard to express your feelings with words. Or in like the last episode, sometimes it's hard to hear somebody's words and take them as something other than an attack. So today they're going to be sharing their feelings with these toys. Now the therapist tells them as a little practice run, she wants them to make a happy moment between them. Now Rob is especially happy with this exercise because apparently he used to be in art school back then, so it's right up his alley. Now Florian still is somehow confused, like I don't know what's going on, but he's like, I never play pretend. I never imagination myself. I never play with myself.
So much toys, sand, I don't know. I never play pretend, to be honest with you. I never imagination myself, like, I never play with myself.
What do you mean by that?
But the therapist goes on to see their scenes, and Stacy has a little granny with a walker, and she says that Florian always says when she gets old, he's gonna change her diapers and things like that, and she finds that funny and cute. And then Florian has just like a little baby with a blanket on it. He says every night he has to tickle her to sleep. Then she goes over to Rob, and Rob has like a whole scene set up, and he says it's when he brought Sophie down to America. It had like his outhouse and his car and things like that. And then Sophie had two toys laying down with animals right behind it. She said that apparently when he went to go visit her one time, they went to the zoo and the animals escaped and started chasing them. First of all, how is that a happy moment? I'm hoping she's just talking about like there was like ducks and stuff or something, but like because she never goes into say what was chasing them. That would be terrifying. That the animals escaping and chasing you is a good moment. That's crazy. But then the therapist tells them that they're going to switch it up and be a little bit more serious, that she wants them to paint a picture of something that they're having difficulties with. And for some reason, only Rob and Stacy get to do it. Maybe after Florian and Sophie got to do it, but they did not show it. So now she goes over Rob's, and Rob has quite a lot of sections going on, but they only go over like a couple things. There was one corner where it was like a bride and a groom, and behind them there was like a lady in a trash can, and he said that was their marriage, their wedding. They had a wedding at the beach, so the blue part was the water, and then they had the sand. And then he goes over and there's like a rhino with like a baby and a treasure, and he says that the rhino is Sophie's mom and she's always worried about this golden treasure, and the baby behind her that the rhino was neglecting is Sophie. And Rob goes on to say that he's hurt by Sophie's mom, by everything that she's said throughout the years, even from the very get-go, before we even seen anything crazy between Rob and Sophie. Like from the very second we saw Sophie's mom, she has been calling him Rob the snob or Rob the knob or something like that, and just like being like, ew, he's gross, you don't need to be marrying him, are you sure? Like always second guessing their marriage. So I have yet to see a single time that her and Rob have had any kind of like even a cordial moment. And he goes on to say that her mom was an addict when Sophie was younger, so Sophie basically just had to raise herself, and so she wasn't raised to be compassionate towards others, and that it's hard for them to even be a team, and her mom is trying to ruin his life. But with just seeing the scene, Sophie starts to get emotional about it. She even realizes without Rob even having to point it out that the lady in the trash can is her mom, and she's like junk because she was a junkie. And it's starting to make her really emotional because she's starting to come to realizations. She didn't understand that the trauma that she got from when she was younger with her mom's addiction, that it was bleeding into her adult life and into her marriage. And she goes on to say that she raised herself and that her mom wasn't really her mom. She saw her more as a friend. So now at the end of it, now she doesn't understand how to have healthy boundaries or express her feelings healthily. And the therapist tells her that it would probably be a good idea to set some boundaries up with her mom. And she even asked both of them to set up boundaries starting today and asked them if if they can do that, and they agree to. Now we go over to Stacy, and she has a whole family laid out with a helicopter, and she's saying the helicopter represents them traveling everywhere because her dad's job, I guess they had to travel a lot. And then she has 2 girls on each side, and it's supposed to represent her and her twin Darcey. Now she gets into some issues that I didn't even realize was a thing. Like, I wonder if this recently started or if this has been going on the whole time, because they don't really go over or talk or anything has brought up in Darcey and Stacy, their show. But apparently Darcey and Florian tend to go out a lot with each other late at night without Stacy, and they even call each other in the middle of the night. And Darcey's already married to Georgie, so she has her own husband sleeping up in his bed. But Stacy goes on to say that Darcey was saying just some disrespectful stuff about her sister, and she asked Florian to tell the therapist what she said, and apparently Darcey was telling Florian that he should just be single, that he deserves better.
And what did she say? Why don't you tell her?
Should be single.
Yeah, told Florian.
Deserve more.
Yeah.
Basically saying that he should just leave Stacy. Girl, that is your twin sister. That is absolutely cuckoo bananas. Like, I knew Darcey was a little off the walls, you know. I knew she was a little cuckoo bananas, but like over like other dudes and stuff, not her. I know her and her sister definitely had a couple of falling outs, but to go as far to tell her husband to basically leave her twin sister, that's crazy. But yeah, Stacy goes on to say that, yeah, she said that he's better off single, and Rob comes to the conclusion, which, you know what, I might even think the same thing too. Like, he was saying that Darcey wants Florian to himself, whether it be that she just thinks he's cute or she just wants more companionship or whatever the heck. Like, she obviously wants him to herself for whatever reason, even though she has a husband. It's crazy because they literally had a falling out. I think it was the last season. It was a recent season. I'm pretty sure it was the last season. Darcey was upset with Stacy because Stacy already had a man and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and have my wedding, because they were supposed to have a twin wedding, and Darcey couldn't find a man to marry. So Stacy was like already married Florian. They actually had like a little wedding, but it was during COVID, so it was only them two, but they wanted to have a full thing, so they went ahead and had their wedding, and Darcey was salty about that.
Florian and I decided that we're going to move forward and plan our own wedding and do our vow renewal at the end of the summer. I hope you respect our decision that we're choosing to move forward and not put it on hold anymore.
Oh, I just can't wait to be Joe ass.
I didn't want to have a twin wedding.
Yeah, and
I'm glad I don't have to have a twin wedding.
Stop the cap.
That you didn't
Okay,
go with the twin wedding.
wonderful.
Stop making it like Florian and I are so upset that there is no twin wedding. Okay.
Oh my God! What is that?
But their regular therapist decides that they should get some family therapy, and even says that they could do it there. And Stacy and Florian agree to both do it. But now it's time for that honeymoon suite party, and Julia decides to invite Jasmine over first off. Julia's showing her around. She shows her the bed, and the flowers are messed up all over the bed because they already laid in it. And Jasmine's like, oh, did you guys fuck already? Dang! It's okay, because Jasmine progressively gets more aggressive with them trying to bang it out. But Brandon goes into saying now that he got rejected, and Jasmine's like, let me show you how this is done. She's like, did you even touch her? Did you kiss her neck? Did you rub her body down like this? And Julia's getting into it, and she's like, see, I got your woman now. And she ends up getting a kiss, and Brandon's like, I'm getting rejected from every corner, and you're already getting some? Like, dang. But Jasmine offers to be a schmecks coach, and he's like, you know what? That's a fair deal. And if you talk to Julia, I'll go ahead and talk to Gino. So if she gets Julia to do some, he's gonna make Gino do some. And I don't know how he's gonna do that, but... But then Brandon goes into that weird talk again. You know how like in that one episode, I think it was like episode 3, 4, somewhere around there. That episode where all the guys were hanging out with each other, and then there was like a big fight between Jasmine and Florian at the end. But you know how Brandon was saying that he watches corn because he's just hungry? Well, he goes back into that whole talk being like, I don't understand Gino. Like, I'd be starving. I'm hungry. Like, I am weak over here. I need it. He's like, I don't understand how Gino's going this long, not doing anything. I'm hungry. Jasmine even says that she's hungry too. And I'm like, can we please stop talking about it? Can we like give it another. Now, like, or I don't know why it's like weirding me out to be like, I'm hungry. Like, it's making me think of that one movie. It's like that one girl, she's like in high school or something. Oh, Teeth. Have you seen that movie? If not, I'm not even gonna explain it. Just don't even look at, just try to find where to watch it and start watching it. It is crazy. But yeah, it always makes me think of that. But Brandon is going in like a savage animal, just like, I want you, I need you, like all in front of Jasmine. And she's like, dang, I wish Gina would talk to me like this. Julia, you are tripping. And she tells her that she's gotta be a hoe tonight.
Be somebody. Be a hoe.
And Brandon is cool with that. He's like, yes, please, tonight. He even goes on to say that he'll do anything for her. He'll try it. Like, it will do anything. And Jasmine's in the back just pushing it like, yeah, he'll do anything, Julia. So Julia decides to get him to dance. Not just for her, but her and Jasmine. And this dude goes into being like, oh, you know, I'm just a little shy. You know, I haven't worked out in a couple days. Let me just cover this up. And Jasmine's like, you said anything. You can't back out now.
Drop them drawers. Show me that ass, nigga!
So she gets up and starts showing him what he needs to do. And it's like, at this point, Jasmine and Julia just need to run away with each other because... But after Jasmine starts him off, gets his hips swinging and stuff, gets his robe off, he's finally getting into it, and he doesn't have rhythm whatsoever, but at least they were having a good time. He was over there twerking all over Julia, even was pulling his shorts down, and Jasmine's seeing his ass, and they're slapping it. They're just having a great time. Now, after Florian and Stacy finish up their therapy, they decide to go out to the jacuzzi, and this is the biggest jacuzzi I've ever seen. Like, in real life, and then on, like, TVs and movies. This was a huge jacuzzi. I thought it was a pool at first, but then when I rewound it, I was like, why is it bubbling? I rewound it and realized I got into a jacuzzi. I was like, that is crazy. That's pretty nice though. But Gino ends up arriving, gotta get the party started between the boys. And Florian's like, take that shit hot off. Get in the pool. And Stacy's like, oh, you guys have a bromance. And Florian, he is so childish because he takes offense to everything. She's like, oh, you guys have a bromance. He's like, romance? No. There's no romance.
Kind of became buddies here, have a little, bromance.
Yes, but no, like bromance, like that romance is like to take out.
There's no romance.
But Gino gets in the jacuzzi, and yes, he still has his hat on, but he gets in and tells Florian and Stacy about the fight that him and Jasmine just had. And of course, I feel like all the men are like this. They're just like, oh, the women. But Florian goes into being like, oh, she just likes drama. She hates to see you happy. Like, fuck her. Don't even go around her anymore. And Stacy's like, not more so... I guess in a way, yeah, defending Jasmine, but not even defending, more just thinking logically. And she's like, no, it's not that. It's just, we're all here at therapy. We're all stressed out, a little bit on edge. It's not that she doesn't want him happy or anything, just basically thinking logically. But Florian's like, nope, she's the devil. But Gino goes into saying that he does have happy times with her. Sometimes she's really cool. She has a great personality, but then a second later, she turns into the devil. And he goes on to say that she's always trying to say that they have a good time, but one day in a row is not enough. He needs multiple days of good, and he's tired of her not listening to that, and it's just getting it to become disrespectful. But with that, Gino starts talking about the party that's being thrown at the honeymoon suite, and Florian starts getting real confused, like, what party? What party are you talking about? I didn't get any invitation. But Stacy herself remembers that they did get invited. It wasn't like a one-on-one, like, here you're invited. I guess right after the whole boat thing and they were heading back to the cars, Julia yells out like, hey, we're gonna have a party at the honeymoon suite. Everybody come by. Everybody's invited. So nobody got like a formal card, letter, invitation. Nobody got a call. Nobody got a text. Everybody just open up your ears. And Stacy said that with all the therapy and the stress and stuff, it kind of just went over her head, but she does remember her inviting all of them. But Florian feels quite disrespected that nobody gave him a phone call, that nobody came up to his face and was like, King Florian of all the kings, will you grace us with your presence in a honeymoon suite tonight? Nobody got that, but he was mad that he didn't get any kind of invitation. No, not any kind of invitation, a very formal invitation. And in the middle of all this, Benny comes out and he's telling them that they should just stay there with him instead of going to the party. And right at that moment, Julia decides that she's gonna go out and bring them in. And I guess the jacuzzi was like literally right outside the door. Well, not like right outside, but if she opens the door, she could see them basically. You know what I mean? So she walks out, she goes and gets them, and she comes out there like, you guys, come on, let's go on inside, let's party. And Florian, he's like, no, too late. I think it's too late, honey, no. And she's like, did I miss something? Like, what's going on? He's like, nope, it's too late. You can't invite me now. Like, everybody else knew, but for some reason, I didn't know. I didn't hear you. So you were being disrespectful because I didn't hear you. Stacy's like, she's trying to invite you right now. He's like, yeah, no. I'm not even dressed. I got in the jacuzzi. I don't want to have to walk 20 feet that way and get dressed and cut. Nope, I'm good. So he's like pissed off already. And at the end of the day, he's mad because he didn't hear something.
You weird, buddy. You're weird.
But Gino and Benny decided to go ahead and get out of the jacuzzi, and they didn't even go get dressed. So I don't know why Florian couldn't just go in his like swim trunks too. Stacy is just like, I don't even want to do it now. I'm embarrassed by you. And she goes on to explain that Florian is very old school. Like he wants a call, like not even a text or anything. He wants to have a call days in advance, no last minute stuff. But this time he's just taking it too far. And she goes on to say that she doesn't even know if it's worth staying with him forever because she does not want to be miserable for the rest of her life. And then this dude sits there and goes into a crazy moment. And he's like, I hate people disrespect. I hate people disrespect. I hate people disrespect.
I hate people disrespect. I hate people disrespect. I hate people disrespect.
Child. Anyway, so
now there's only a couple of couples missing. A couple of couples. I don't know what that was weird to me. But there's only a couple of couples missing from the party, and it's Rob and Sophie and Josh and Natalie. Where Rob and Sophie are in their room. Sophie's getting rolled up like a burrito, having a good time. But Rob says that he's actually going to go to the party and leave Sophie at home because she's feeling a little down and tired, so it's just best for her to stay home and rest. Now Josh and Natalie, well, we don't know where Josh is. Josh is gone. I don't even know if the producers know where he is because they go to Natalie's room asking where he is, and she's like, I don't know. He won't even answer my calls. And she even tries to call him right there and then, and he's letting it ring. Not even like a straight to voicemail or nothing. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna just let that play out, my guy. And this girl goes on to say that this is a big problem for them, that anytime that they get into an argument, he runs off and all she's trying to do is talk to him. All she's trying to do is talk to him.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Josh, I come here, you sleep with me, and after you tell me, bye! Okay, go.
I have to go to...
I put all on the map. Oh, I'm in a different country, I don't have work, I'm still married, I do the for you, and you don't even have time for me. Go.
Be fucking for real. I would run off too, but the difference between me and Josh is I would run and keep running and never look back. Like, I don't know why he you know what? No, I know why he keeps coming back. We all know why he keeps coming back, because that TLC money and clout. Did anybody see him, Rob, and freaking, what's his name? Kimbali's son? They all have this weird boy band group called the 90 Day Bad Boys. It is quite cringy, but I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and you know, like you'll get an ad in between the reels. Well, an ad popped up for T-Mobile and it was them. I was like, what? Like, so he is definitely getting his little bag out of this, that's for sure. But we get back to the suite, and Benny and Gino just walk in, and Jasmine is so delighted to see Benny, of course. But then Julia's like, look who else is here! Gino! And she's like, oh, okay. And Julia's like, look at how sexy she looks. Look at this sexy dress. And Gino's like, oh, yeah. So they are completely just like ignoring each other. He even walks to the other side of the room. But Brandon ends up just pouring them some drinks and takes the guys out to the fireplace. So Julia and Jasmine are sitting there like, where's Stacy? Where's she at? Is she not coming? So Julia tells Jasmine everything that happened. And you know, Jasmine already hates Florian. So she's like, let's go out there and get this girly pop, alright? Even goes on to say that Florian does not deserve somebody like Stacy because Stacy is so sweet, so loving, she's a lady, and Florian just has anger problems. He's weird. But like I said, the jacuzzi is pretty much right across from the door so they can see them coming out. So Stacy sees them walking out of the house and she's like, please don't act crazy, don't embarrass me, just chill out. And Florian's like, whatever. Like a child. But Jasmine gets over there and she's like, Stacy, why aren't you guys coming in? And Florian, he's like, oh, it's too late, I didn't get an invitation, I didn't get a call. And Jasmine goes on to explain that Julia invited everybody at the same time. Like, she just yelled it out, nobody got a personal invitation. And Stacy is like, yes, thank you, this is what happened. And he's still like, nope, I didn't get a call or nothing. And he's like, we all went out to dinner, why didn't Brandon approach me and shake my hand like a man and tell me that you guys were having a party? And it's like, bro, what? Like, dude, you can't act all this high and mighty when you can't even get a job, my guy. I'm sorry. Like, you ain't got no nothing going on. So uninvite this dude, uninvite him, tell him he can't even come in, and I guarantee you he'll try to bust up into that party. But Brandon ends up coming out, and of course now since there's a man there, Florian can finally talk respectfully, and he's talking to Brandon all chill as hell compared to the women, which is like, there's something wrong with him. He definitely hates women. Because when he talks to the other dudes, he's like, down here. And like, why isn't he putting the same amount of blame on Brandon than Julia? Like, he did say, why didn't Brandon come to me? But the way he's talking to them, the way he was talking to Julia and Jasmine was crazy. But then Brandon comes out and he's like, listen, buddy, listen, buddy, it's okay, buddy. And then he goes into being like, listen, I have so many rules in my life. My husband gay. My father raised me to be very, very respectful. I only respect my friends, my family. And Jasmine's like, you respectful? You are the most damn disrespectful person I know. And Florian snaps. He's like, you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Even Brandon stands up. He's like, whoa, guy. And like, is trying to calm him down. Stacy's in his face like, you better calm down. You better calm down. And he is just yelling over everybody.
My college teach me to respect people. Special like friends.
Yeah. Respect people. You're the most disrespectful people in there.
Shut the up. Shut your mouth. What the tell me respectful. Shut up.
And this sends Jasmine into being like, I hope Stacy leaves your ass. You ugly old chimpunky old lunky. Just starts going in like, I hope Stacy leaves you. Like, you do not deserve that woman at all. You suck. And she tries to walk off. And then he's like, oh, Chihuahua want a treat. Chihuahua want a treat. Like, oh my gosh. But then she comes back and she's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking Jasmine and I'm crazy, dude. They were just going back and forth, and it's like, at some point 90 Day just needs to buy their own resort and bar so these people could have outbursts to themselves. Cause oh my, I would be mad if I spent a whole bunch of money on a good ass resort, only there for a weekend, and then I hear these crazy ass people yelling outside. You know what? That's entertainment. Never mind. That is great entertainment. I would pay double for that. But eventually Julia sweeps Jasmine away. She gets her back in the house, and Jasmine is like on I don't give a two fucks level, because they're sitting in the house laughing their asses off, just joking. Like, that wasn't nothing to Jasmine. But Florian is heated as hell. He is mad. And Brandon's like trying to calm him down. And again, this is what I say when the men just hate women. Because they're always saying it's the woman's fault. They're crazy. It's okay. But Brandon literally says, verbatim, you know, women, they rage. They get emotional.
You know,
I know the women, they rage. They get emotional.
I feel like some people forget that anger is an emotion. And Florian was the most emotional out of all of them. How are you just gonna blame that on the women? The disgusting behavior. But Brandon tries to get him to come into the party and just hang out, and Florian's like, nah, I'm not going in there. And so Brandon decides to just go ahead and leave them, and Stacy is like, you know what? You have horrible anger issues, and not just with me, you have it with everybody, and that's crazy. And if he continues to keep having these crazy outbursts, that she's just gonna leave him. And she ends up leaving him at the jacuzzi, just gets out right there and leaves. Now we get to the party, and the last person to arrive, well, not the last because Rob still hasn't arrived, but the last person to walk in is Natalie, and she comes in with some bag of gummy worms, or not gummy worms, but the like Haribo gummy bears. And I don't know why that threw me off. I mean, that's nice to bring something. I don't know. It just threw me off. But she comes in and she immediately tells everybody what happened between her and Josh and how Josh isn't there anymore. And Brandon goes on to say that him and Josh actually talked that morning. And everybody's like, oh my God, what did he say? And he says that Josh said that he needs stability in his life and she's too much for stability and she's all over the place. And she's like, what's that? And both Jasmine and Julia turn her and like, you're crazy. But then Julia goes on to say that he also said that he's scared of her taking all of his money and his businesses. And Brandon agrees that he heard that too. And she's sitting there in shock, which I don't know why. She just goes on to say she doesn't understand why Josh is lying to her, why he's telling everybody else a different story compared to what he's telling her, that she just wasted 3 years of her life. Like, she doesn't understand what's happening. And it's like, girl, like, I think you're saying it to yourself, but you don't want to accept it. You're going on 3 years, not even seeing his place, like the bare minimum. Like 3 years after that long, I would think that guy was like a serial killer or something. Like, what are you hiding? Like, so I would remove myself from this situation. But yeah, she's just like, I don't understand what's happening. And with that, that is the end of the episode. And weirdly, they didn't even give us previews for the next episode, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's next. And obviously Josh, we will see Josh again because we've seen like clips and previews of them talking to a therapist being like, do you want to commit, Josh? So he will be back, but when, we don't know. How long he's gonna stay around, we don't know. But I think with them not showing any previews, I think it's probably nearing close to the commitment ceremony, so probably not very many episodes left. I really hope this season they actually have a tell-all though. Like, I need a tell-all for this one. But with all that, if you guys come this far with me, you might as well hit that like and subscribe. But as always, thank you guys for coming and watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.